everyone, it's Jess, and we are here to talk about episode 4 of Guts and Glory. I know it's not Thursday. Listen. I know. A schedule hates to see me coming. Because I won't stick to it. But we're getting there. Just listen, we're locking in, we're catching up, and it's time. Don't worry. Halloween kind of messed me all up. We'll get into that later. Everybody, you want to talk about Guts and Glory, not about me and my ADHD. You can't do anything. But don't worry. We're good. After this little catch-up session we're doing here, we're on lock with this schedule. Trust. And if I'm wrong, this never happened. So if things go right again, just pretend, just fast forward over this part. So now, don't worry. Okay. Guts and Glory, episode 4. So, interesting episode. I actually really enjoyed it. I liked this challenge. I think probably one of the better challenges that they've done. Well, at least I enjoyed it more than some of the other ones. Getting ahead of myself though. So, Guts and Glory, episode 4. They've just left the junkyard where two people were eliminated, Alexis and Ryan, and then they watched Lucian be murdered by a creature. And it's kind of funny. People are kind of more bummed about the eliminations than they are the man they just watched get mauled by a creature. Like, Brady's like, I really liked Alexa. Like, oh. It's just like, the man that was just killed? Hello? It's funny, they're kind of like more confused about Lucian dying. They're like, so he died. Okay. They're like, are we gonna die next? Are they gonna kill more people? What's happening? Colby is like trying to like piece things together here. He's like, could all these murders be connected? Julian, the bus driver, Lucian. Something has to be tying this all together. And I'm like, okay, Nancy Drew, okay, get into it. Start theorizing. Start thinking some things up. He doesn't really, elaborate much more than that. Because he's like, I have no idea. But it feels like it is connected. And I'm like, maybe. But yeah. They're all on their bus. Once again, driving through the woods. No new bus. They don't show who the bus driver is this time. They're like, don't worry about it. They're getting there. Once again, they're just driving through the woods in Alabama. Now, things starting to get interesting because people are starting to get antsy and nervous and really not trusting each other after all of this mess that they've just been going through this past couple days. I don't even know how long they've been in this because they just keep going. A lot of people not feeling the vibes. I was trying to write them down as they were talking in their confessionals about it. Like, DeJuan's not really feeling like Colby and Josh. Brady's a little bit nervous about Josh and DeJuan. Julia and Michaela are really not feeling about each other that well. Josh is just kind of vibing. Josh didn't really say anybody. Some of them didn't really say anybody. But a couple people are kind of sussing it out. And honestly, in that setting, I also would be trying to distrust people. I'd be like, how many people have we seen be killed? How much insane shit have we had to do this past 2 days? In the middle of fucking nowhere? I also be like, what's happening? I think it's like, it's like paranoia. Once you start with that paranoia, it just keeps going and going and going and going and going. It's kind of hard to pull yourself out, especially when you're like immersed in that setting of like, this is like some horror movie crazy shit that we're in. Once you're there, it's hard to get out. So they are locking in to this paranoia, especially now that they are on their way to their next challenge in the woods. The bus dumps them off at a graveyard. Bunch of graves. There's a ritual, altar, sites up behind the graveyard, and the bus fucking peels out. And that actually made me laugh. They were like, where's the bus going? And the bus is just like, bye. The new bus driver is like, listen, that last guy got devoured. I'm out. Call me when you're done. I'm getting the fuck out of here. So now they're at this graveyard. There's caskets and coffins. Coffins, I guess, is the better one. Not really caskets, obviously. Here comes Greg from the woods. It's time for your next challenge. This challenge, multiple parts, and they are in teams this time. Teams of 2. 3 teams of 2. Obviously 6 people left. I wrote down our teams. But before we do that, something funky's happening in this graveyard. Because, like I said, they can see the coffins. Things are amiss here. Things have been stirred up. What's going on? Greg is telling the contestants here. He's like, listen, that first challenge we did, the Urban Legend Challenge, we did something that day. Something that woke something up in these woods. Something ancient. It is causing a ruckus. It has vandalized this graveyard. It's not happy. And I believe they're referencing back to the, oh my goodness, what was the name of it? The Swaddled Infant story that was in the challenge, that first episode, as well as the story that Julian told before, she was caught cheating and ran to the woods and was killed. So, something's amiss here. Something's up going on in these woods with that damn baby. But their job here, they're like, you know what? Something's going on here, but fuck that. We gotta put this graveyard back together. We gotta get this shit back in place and put people back to rest. So they're in their teams, which are, I did write them down so I don't forget, Michaela and Colby, Julia and Josh, and Dewan and Brady. Dewan and Brady are interesting because they both don't really trust each other that well. They're both kind of like, alright. The other 2 teams are pretty happy working with each other, especially Julia. Josh kept her safe the last episode by, he won the advantage from the previous challenge of not having to compete in the tire challenge, and he picked Julia to also skip it as well, so she wasn't at risk of going home. So now she's like, great, I can work with him, kind of pay him back for keeping me safe. So that each team has to draw bones. There's a long bone, a short bow. The bone you pick determines which part, of the challenge you are doing. Short bone and long bone. I was going to just do the short bone. I was just going to do by teams. I was going to do short bone and long bone. We'll go by the teams. That's a little easier. Of Michaela and Colby. Michaela draws the short bone. Colby, long bone. Julia and Josh. Josh has the short bone. Julia has the long bone. And then Dewan and Brady. Brady has the short bone. Dewan the long. Now, the 3 short bone people, Michaela, Josh, and Brady, they're going in the coffins. And they will be in there until the long bone people can get them out, their partner. So, there's a many graves, obviously only 3 people, so the longbone people don't know which graves their partners are getting into. Now, the longbone people have a task to go to burial sites, which I didn't realize until, they were actually doing the challenge. It was right in front of the graves. For some reason, they were farther in the woods, and they had to, run back. Nope, kind of, right there. I'm like, oh, okay. But the longbone people have to have their own burial sites. They have to dig through and collect 17 pieces of a skeleton. Stuff them in a bag. Run. Do they have to bring it to the... I can't remember. They have to get the bones. Then they have to find their partner. Well, they dump the bones at the burial site. At the... Oh my god. The altar. Oh, Jesus. Excuse me. Then they have to find their partner in the coffin that they're in. Get him out. And now they must work together to assemble the skeleton. Once all 17 bones are assembled, full-size skeleton here, they now have to wrap the skeleton up, carry it back to the grave their partner was in, bury it, you're done. You're safe. Slowest team, you're done. You're out of the game. Now, this was interesting. I do love a puzzle. I think this was a fun challenge because I liked the puzzle aspect. I liked that it was a race because they're all going at the same time. That was one of my biggest things with the tire challenge in the last episode. That it was like one by one. It was kind of like slow, especially because nobody had failed in that challenge. Like there was a penalty if you fell off of like 30 seconds, but nobody really fell or dropped the tire. So it was kind of like, okay. But I liked that it was a race because when you're racing and you see each other, as I mentioned in the last video, people get nervous, people start to panic. When they start seeing people ahead of them, people are like, oh shit, now I'm falling behind. If I fall behind, I'm out. So then they start trying to catch up, and that's when you start getting mistakes, and people get sloppy and miss things. And and that's what happened this challenge. We had a couple of teams, actually 2 teams, miss bones completely. Think they had all the bones, put the skeleton together, and they're like, oh shit, we're missing a bone. And I have to go back and try to dig and find the bones they're missing, which I think is fun. I always love when there's just kind of a little bit of a chaos to everything, and it's just like, just pure like, oh shit, we gotta do this, and then we're like, oh my god, we gotta go back here, we gotta do this, we're messing up here, we gotta do this. I don't know, maybe I'm just a menace. I like when things, I don't know, just have that like thrill to it. That like rawness of like, I'm fighting for my life. I don't know. I just like that intensity of the competitions. When you can see each other and you're like, they're ahead of me. I have to do everything I can to get past them now. And I think I eat that shit up. I love it. So I'm glad that they went this way with the challenge and didn't do, one by one who had the fastest time. So I'm glad they went this way. Now, let me tell you something. These people digging the bones, I would love to know how buried these bones are, because they're not small bones. This is like a full-size skeleton they're putting together. So they're not small. But they're taking a hot minute to find these bones. And I don't know how they missed some of them. I get like, oh, I missed a little bone. I think both teams missed I know Colby and Michaela were one of the teams that had to go back to get bones. Because Colby missed it. He missed how do you miss a full hand? A whole hand. It was one thing if it's like, oh, it's a little hand. Full hand. Like, probably like the size of my hand. You missed the skeleton hand sitting? I would love to know how deep they were buried, how wide they were buried. Did they have to go wider versus, like, deeper? Because Survivor, this happened, actually, this literally Survivor 49. First episode, there was a challenge, a journey to compete for supplies where 2 people on the season had to dig to find like a big wheel, like a ship wheel. One of the guys had an issue because he was not digging deep enough. He kept digging, he was digging shallow and wide versus narrow and down. So he had a big lead and lost it, and ultimately lost that challenge because he just wasn't digging deep enough, and he kept going to different spots, trying to find this thing, while his competitor realized he's doing something wrong and just kept digging down deep and then found what he needed. So I wonder with this, with the bones, because they're pretty sizable bones, if they had to go deeper, if some of them just weren't going wide enough, especially when they had gone back to get like the bones they were missing, they're just like kind of throwing dirt everywhere. And I'm like, don't just throw shit everywhere, at least be a little like concise, like precise with what you're doing. Because if you're just kind of going buck wild, obviously you're going to miss things. But I do love that for entertainment purposes. Because I'm like, especially when they showed the bone, when Colby ran away to go get Michaela, and you see the bone sitting there, I'm like, Colby, the bone, like the hand is right there. If I can see it, how can't you see the bone, the hand, sitting in the dirt? I'm like, go get it. Or then when the other team who was missing bones, Dewan and Brady, had to go back, it was like a whole long bone. I'm like, how did you couldn't find, oh, like was that the one he missed, or was that one he was just like struggling, the last piece he was struggling to find that he was aware of? Whatever it was, I'm like, how are you missing this? So I'm so curious to how they buried them. If they had to go deeper, or if they had to go wider and shallower. Would love to know that. But they're digging. And you know something? Julia finds those bones fast. She was flying. She was tearing that shit up. She got them all quick. And also, I love the little graphic. I kind of love the little graphic they had for the bones. It was like in the corner. It was like dirt, and every time they got a bone, it would like appear, like it was like kind of like grayed out, blacked out, and it would like appear. So you just take little pieces of bones, like oh, the hand, they have the head, they have this bone, they have that bone. I'm like, oh, that's fun. And the same thing when they were assembling the skeleton, they had like a grayed out outline of a skeleton, and they would slowly put the pieces in as they attach them, which was fun. I like that. Now, what I also liked, not with the bone digging, but with the short bone people in the coffins. First, they put them in there. They're so mean. There's bodies in the coffins with them. So they open the coffin. There's just like some guy like this, and they're like, "Oh, Grace." They just like kind of lay. They just lay on this body, and they're like, "Okay, oh, we're in here." And what I did like is that they have no lights. There's nothing. They just got their little Blair Witch GoPro. And they're like, all right, you're in there. You're in there until he gets you out. And it's like, oh. Because I've seen other buried alive challenges on other shows, specifically like the Traders, which I believe I actually mentioned in the last video. But in those, they have, because they have clues in them, they have flashlights, so that some of them just have the flashlight on the whole time. I'm like, that kind of takes away, like, the fear factor of it all. Because, like, well, I guess you get, you know, the confined space with the being, you know, buried alive aspect that a lot of people have that fear. But with a light on, it's kind of like, okay, well, at least I can see. And Guts&Glory were like, you're getting no light. You're in the dark with this body, and you're going to sit there with your little GoPro till somebody gets you out. And what was interesting about this is because they had, you know, they weren't communicating with their partners on the outside. So to find them, once they had all the bones, the other, you know, long bone people have to just kind of lift the coffin lid and look in and be like, nope. So there was one moment when Brady's just kind of laying in there. And then Colby opens her coffin trying to find Michaelan's like, nope, and then closes it. And Brady's like, oh. She's like, well, it opened for a second. And I was like, yay. And then she's like, and then I see Colby. And I'm like, oh. Not for me. Not me. He's not trying to get me. So I'm still in here in the dark. So I kind of wish they had made it. That was one of my things. I wish they had made it a little bit harder to get them out of the coffin. I think that would just maybe made it a little more interesting if you had to spend time to get your partner out versus just like, okay, open this lid, no. Open this lid, no. But then again, like I said, with other, you know, challenges, you have, if they're not able to tell who's in, like, what? Oh my god, I just said that so badly. But, okay, let me explain that a little bit better. Now, when they do this challenge on the Traders, I'm just gonna keep referring to the Traders because they have similar challenges. They have the contestants fully buried, and like they're in the coffin and there's dirt piled up. You gotta get a shovel and dig them. They are 6 feet under and you gotta get them out. The problem is, like I said earlier, they have clues on the inside of the coffins to have their teammates find them. So, you know, they have flashlights, they have things to read, they have walkie-talkies. So it kind of takes that fear element out. I mean, you're still, you know, buried, but it's one thing to be buried and like, oh, I can talk to somebody and I have a light I can see versus I'm in the dark alone. So while it would have been interesting if it had been a little harder to get the teammate out, I also understand that that kind of takes away from the fear of it all if they have a way to communicate with somebody. I wonder if maybe they could have done it with like something on the outside, like have markers on the graves. And I don't know how they could have done it. Maybe something they have to find like in the woods that they're next to that would have like a clue of like which markers your partners. I don't know. That's why I'm not playing on these challenges. But I think that would have been fun to make it a little harder, but I understand that kind of takes away the fear of from the show. If you can communicate with somebody, because then you're not as afraid, like, oh, I can talk to somebody. I'm not alone in this coffin with this corpse. So yeah. Like I said, would have been cool to see it make it a little harder, but I get why they couldn't do that. Now, some of the people, let me tell you something, struggling with the challenge. Like I said, Colby and Dewan were having a bit of a harder time finding the bones, and Julia kind of flew through that. And when she gets Josh out of there, they're putting them bones together quick. Like Because they all have these little metal, like, bearings they have to click in, but they're also having a hard time clicking them in. I'm like, okay. Puzzle, but they're like, what make the puzzle hard? Just put it back. You can't put it in. It's like, you should know how the body works. But then again, I don't know bones. And Michaela, Michaela, who's a nurse, is like, well, me being a nurse does not benefit me because I don't know how to put this. She's like, I've never put together a skeleton. I'm like, but yeah, but you know what it should look like. Like, you should know the bones, though. Something like that's a little. It should help you. But then again, I'm not a nurse. I don't know. What do I know? But yeah. Oof. Struggling. Now, obviously I mentioned previously already that Colby and Dewan had to go back to get bones. Now, something that drove me nuts. Colby goes back to get a hand from the dirt. He has to go find the hand that are missing. I didn't realize this until he comes back but they have, the little graphic I mentioned with the skeleton being put together. The feet aren't on when he comes back and he puts the hand on. Like, we gotta do the feet. What was Michaela doing? Did they tell them, like, okay, you can't put it together while your partner's not here? Because if Colby's going to get the hand he's missing, and all we have to do besides put that hand on is just put on the 2 feet, I'm putting the feet on. I get, like, okay, it's hard, it's easy, you just gotta put 2 feet, I don't care. That's it, you're wasting time. You need any type of advantage you can get. Even though, like, I believe at this point, Julie and Josh were already done, and they had a bit of a lead over Dewan and Brady, but they were catching up. Brady was killing that shit. She was cooking it. And Michaela, I'm like, Michaela, I don't know how long it took him to go find that hand. I'm like, I would have been putting them feet on. Put them on. Why did you wait? Just click them on. It's not like it was hard. You have to be like, well, I don't know what this bone is with the 2 feet. Put them on. And then when he got in there, all I had to do was put the hand on, wrap your body up, carry it off. But I don't know. Maybe they told him you have to wait till your partner comes back. I don't know. I wasn't there. Personally, wasn't on the set, so I couldn't tell you. But I would have been putting that shit together because you need any second you can get. Because if it was closer, if Brady and Dewan had been faster at this skeleton and gotten this shit together, that could have been it. That would have gotten you out of the game if they had been able to click that shit on while Colby was gone. I don't know. That kind of drove me nuts. I was like, why did she not put them on? 2 seconds. 2 seconds to put on some feet. I don't know. Now, Dewan and Brady. Dewan was driving me nuts. Dewan, for some reason, was like, yeah, Brady, whatever. I don't care about Brady. And then he flopped at this challenge, and Brady had to carry him through it, and he was like, oh, I kind of messed up, and I maybe I should have been a bit nicer about Brady. And I'm like, oh, really? You think? When she saved your ass in this game, in the challenge, she was carrying it, let me tell you. He took forever to find them bones. She was sitting in that coffin for I don't know how long. And then she's cooking those bones together better than him. I'm like, Interesting. Funny how that works. Interesting. I thought that was really, really interesting. Talking all that crap, but you could barely find some bones. And he had to go back and get another bone. I believe a hand as well. I'm like, oh my god. Crazy. Now, it was mostly a fight between, like as I mentioned, Colby and Michaela, Dewan and Brady. Julie and Josh were the first ones to finish. And we had a weird, I don't even know how to describe it, dream? Vision? With Josh. They get the body and they close the coffin and he's suddenly, boom, it's not dark in the woods anymore. It's not nighttime, it's daytime. Everybody's gone. It's just him. It has this weird, like haze to it. And he's like, where am I? Julia? Julia, where did you go? And he's like walking through the woods. It's like, wait, you know, it's something like, I think they're trying to, it's like that like dream effect, like that filter. I don't know, like the soft blur of it all. And he's walking around like, where is everybody? And then there's a little baby skeleton on the floor. And he's like, and then he goes and like touches it in this like hazy dream thing. And the moment he touches it, boom, he's back in the challenge. And Julia's like, you alright? And he's like, yeah, what the hell? So confused. What was that? I don't know what that was. I was like, okay. I don't know what that segment was. I think they were still trying to bring like the lore of, you know, the urban legend stories from the previous challenge back in, because they had mentioned, you know, at the beginning of this that it had affected the graveyard. Interesting way to do it. Sure. I guess. It was more confusing than anything, because it wasn't like a scary segment. It wasn't like, oh, this like creature, like it was just like there's the baby skeleton, you know, where they drowned in the, you know, they couldn't find the body of the mother and the baby from the story. So it's just like a baby skeleton just like curled up in the dirt, and he like touches it, and he's out of it. And I'm like, like, I'm not saying it was bad. It was interesting, just a little confusing. I was like, okay, sure, yeah. You know, you're like, oh, okay. I don't see the vision, but I get what you're going for, so sure. They don't really address it beyond that. They're just like, this is this thing that happens, and we move on. And I'm like, okay. Just putting skeletons together again. But, as I said, you know, as it was a race between, you know, Brady and Dewan, Colby and Michaela. Colby and Michaela ultimately had that lead over Brady and Dewan, especially with Dewan having to go back and find another bone as well. So they ultimately are able to beat them and win as well. So Brady and Dewan are out, and nobody is murdered. No murders this time. No killings. No nothing. Just regular old bog standard eliminations. So we are down to our final 4 teams. They called it, they're like, you've made it to the semifinals. Which is funny because sure. Semifinals, like this is Bake Off. And I honestly, it made me laugh. I was like, semifinal? Because you don't really often hear it like that. I don't know. I usually like, oh, it's the final 4. Not like, it's the semifinals of Guts&Glory. But we're there. So we have our final 4 contestants, which are Colby, Michaela, Julia, and Josh. Somebody is getting that Hyundai Tucson, which I guess is the only prize because nothing else has been mentioned. So shout out, you're getting that Hyundai Tucson, one of you, one of the 4. That car is yours. Which they didn't do the obvious ad read again, but let me tell you something. There's a segment at the end of the episode once we find out our final 4 and they're moving on and they leave the challenge. You know, the ending scene with Greg, you know, where he's driving and he's driving in the fucking Tucson. And they have like, he's like talking and they have like a shot of just like the vehicle panel on the inside, like the radio, the dashboard. I'm like, all right, listen, I get it. You're being sponsored by Hyundai Tucson. I don't need to see I'm not buying the car. Listen, look at me. AMC, I'm talking to you. I'm not buying the car. I don't need to see the interior. I think you guys need to work on these sponsorship contracts. We don't need all of these shots of the inside of the dash of the Hyundai Tucson. We could just move on. You did it last episode about 88 times, and I don't need to see it again. No more Hyundai Tucson, please. Please. Let's move on. Get it out of here. Too much Hyundai Tucson. I'm sick of it. They didn't even say the name again, but they're just talking like the car. We could win the car. They're like, oh, I guess I can't win that car. I'm like, ugh. I'm so tired of that damn Hyundai Tucson. I really am. I really, really am. I can't. At least we didn't get the multiple ad reads this time, or confessionals about like, I need a new car. My lease is up. But just seeing that interior shot, I'm like, because then I start piecing things together. I'm like, that's what they do the drive, because they need to do more of the Tucson, but they can't just keep being like, it's a Tucson, we use the car. Oh my god. Which is another thing that kind of like, about, they have Greg, at the end of the episode, driving and talking about the episode. But I feel like it kind of, it's like they try to put you in the immersion and they keep breaking you out of it. And I'm like, just try to keep us in there. Because then Greg is kind of talking about like behind the scenes stuff. And I'm like, okay, but how about we do that, like, put a video up or something about it. Don't do it in the episode, because I feel like it kind of takes you out. Like, you're trying to create this like horror movie immersive setting, but then having Greg like driving the fucking Tucson and talking about how, like, oh, when the team and I watched Colby leave that bone behind, they were talking about like how, like expect the unexpected. We never know how this is gonna go, and when we saw Colby leave the bone behind, we were like, oh my god, like, surprised, like, oh wow, this is really crazy. Like, I'm like, we don't kind of need that in the episode, because it's kind of like taken away from it, if in a way, if that makes sense. It's like I said so much already in the last episode about like what my thoughts are if we do another season. I feel like we don't need this. We don't need the peek behind the curtain look. If we're gonna do that, make that maybe like a bonus episode, like at the end of do that actually, because I would like to see like the behind the scenes of like the special effects and then stuff, because obviously that's it's Greg Nicotero, that's what he does. I would love to see like the production side of things, but doing it in the episode kind of like takes you out of it, because it's like you're supposed to be like immersed in like this, like, oh my god, this is like a horror like show. People have been killed. They're doing these like scary challenge, like, but when you're putting this in like the production seat and showing us like behind, it's like and we get like shots of like the crew packing like the lights and shit up, and like packing everything, and I'm like, we don't see the Survivor crew packing up the set, they're not putting the challenge away. Like, we don't need it, because you're taking us out, and I want you to keep us in that scary setting. Put the fear in us. You're putting the fear into your contestants, but we need to have that fear as well watching it, because it's supposed to be a scary show. I want to be scared and anxious and stressed, and I really haven't been there. I mean, I'm having fun. I like the show, but it's like they put you in and take you out, and I'm like, keep us in, keep it in, keep it in, keep us in. I just want it to be scarier. I want fear. It's like, I feel bad. I'm like, scare these people, dramatize these motherfuckers. But I just want it to be really immersive and interesting, and like you're locked in onto this setting. Like, what the hell is gonna happen next? But when you have Greg Nicotero and that goddamn Hyundai Tucson talking about behind the scenes, the production crew, and I'm like, but that's not what I want. Do a special like episode at the end of the season talking about. I would watch that. Do like an hour-long episode at the end of the season talking about like all the production stuff, all how we made this body thing, how we made the creature that was haunting and stalking them last episode. Like, do that. Don't kind of like throwing it in. I don't know. It like takes you out, and I don't want to be taken out. I want to be in. Lock us in, please. But speaking of locking in, next episode we get a little teaser for next week. We're getting locked in, all right. Locked in a barn, because we're doing a barn escape room. That's what it looks like to me. Whether, trapped in a bar and they have to, like, recite incantations to open the door. But if they say I'm wrong, something might go wrong. And we're seeing things coming out of the ground. Zombies. And it looks fun. So I'm excited for that. I can't wait for that this week. I think that'll be really, really fun to watch. And, actually, I skipped over something. They showed us that behind the scenes thing of the crew packing up and leaving. They're driving away. We get shot in the woods. And look who's there. Guess who it is? It's that damn creature that killed the bus driver and Lucian. It's shape-shifted back into its, like, more humanescent, like, human form that was on the bus. It's watching the crew. Eyes on you. So that might come back to bite him. Literally might bite him. It got teeth. And it's ready to tear some shit up. So hopefully we get some payoff from that. Because we still haven't gotten the payoff from Julian waking up back in the morgue as a zombie. Or as a creature. I keep saying zombie, but it could be, who knows. But we haven't seen Julian after she woke up, so we'd love to see that as well. So hopefully we get some more of those things tied up into the next episode. I mean, there's only 2 episodes left. This episode, there's only 6 episodes. So there's only 5 and 6 next. So we gotta start tying things up and getting things done. So I am excited for that, though. That's kind of like I have to say today. I mean, I did like the challenge. I love a puzzle. And it wasn't as easy as some of the other challenges have been. So it was a little harder and a little more, difficult with the head-to-head competition of it all. The race to get things done. Adds a little more oomph to it, as you would say. But yeah, Guts&Glory. Next week, or I guess technically this week, semifinals. Only 4 people left. Who's getting that Tucson? We gotta find out who gets the damn Hyundai Tucson. I'm sick of that car. I can't. After last episode, I'm like, oh my god, Hyundai damn Tucson. We getting to see who. I wonder how many people will be in the final, because there's only 4 people, so I assume there'll be another elimination. There wasn't a murder this episode, so I wonder if there'll be a murder next episode. Because they could have, I'm guessing between 3 or 2 people in that finale. Obviously, you can't just have one person, but they're not gonna put all 4 in there. So I could see us losing 1 person. Honestly, I could see us losing 2. I could see somebody getting mauled. That wouldn't shock me. Wouldn't shock me in the slightest. But this show, truly, expect the unexpected. But yeah, that's all I had to say about Guts&Glory today. Let me know your thoughts below on the episode. Did you like this challenge? Did you like that nobody was murdered? Did you want more murders? Who do you think is going to be murdered next episode, if there is a murder? Who do you think is going to be eliminated, just regular elimination style, if there is no murder? Or fuck it, what if there's both? What do you think? Let me know your thoughts, predictions below. Coming up, obviously, like I said earlier at the beginning, I'm behind as always. ADHD, even though I make my own schedule, I can't stick to it. I know. I'm trying. Halloween is a whole ordeal here. Like, I'm saying thousands and this is a block party. Streets are closed. There's bands. There's bonfires. It's crazy. So, we had a lot to prep for. Plus, parties at work. Family coming over. So, I did fall behind. I apologize. So, to catch up, for Survivor 49 and The Amazing Race 38, both videos coming out today and tomorrow, and they will be coming out today and tomorrow, are combos. So, Survivor 49 will have, and The Amazing Race 38 will have both episodes 5 and 6 together. So that way, we're all caught up, and I can actually put things out in an orderly fashion, because I have nothing coming up anymore. No more parties, and unless you count going to the doctor, which doesn't count to me. So, we will be back on track, hopefully. With that being said, Survivor 49 video will be coming out tonight, and it will be after this Guts and Glory video. Don't worry. If you're watching this now, it should already be out, or will be out within like a couple hours. The Amazing Race, if it is not also out today, it most likely will be tomorrow. Because I'm just one person, and I'm trying my best. So, look forward to those as well. And then after that, we'll be back on a regular old schedule with Guts and Glory on Thursday, Survivor 49 Episode 7 on Friday, and The Amazing Race Episode 7 on Sunday, next Sunday. So we're getting caught up. And I really appreciate your patience because, you know, I've only had this channel for a couple months, so I'm still figuring things out. And I'm trying. My ADHD does not like me. And I'm fighting her. And we're pushing through. That's all I got for today. I will see y'all next time for more Guts and Glory. One step closer to that Tucson, baby. Woo! Alright. I will see you guys next time. Subscribe if you like. And leave a comment. Like I said, on your thoughts. Give a like. Did I say subscribe already? You can do it again if you want. But I will see y'all in the next one. Alright.